Hello YouTubers, Aqua Raymond Ray here. We are going to do an unboxing today of an external canister filter that I've really been excited about getting into my own tank. This filter is the SICCE SPACE EKO. And basically SICCE is a company that's based in Italy. They're very well known for their pumps and filters. This particular model has a 3-year guarantee. They basically have 3 different levels of this filter. It comes in a 120, a 220, and a 320. The 320 is rated for up to 85 US gallons. This particular unit is energy efficient. It only uses 14 watts of energy. And basically it has some really unique features that I'm interested in. Once we get it out on the table, I will break it all down for you. But when the filter itself, the water comes in the filter and then comes from the bottom back through the canisters and out. The canister system is unique on this. It has 3 different baskets that interlock. So once you go to clean this filter, it makes it very easy. It's very lightweight and it's very easy to pull all your canisters out with one handle. And then you unlock them all and clean everything. So the bottom canister will hold your mechanical media. All your sponges will be in the bottom canister. The middle canister will start to hold your biomedia. So we're going to fill that middle one with some ceramic rings. And then the top canister also holds the biomedia, and we're going to put some bio home life in there. And then I top it off with a little bit of carbon at the top. It does come with everything, comes with your sponges, comes with the ceramic. I have some that I already am going to use, but it does come with some ceramic rings. And it also comes with your carbon, a little pack of carbon. So it has a couple other unique features on the intake and outtake valves. There's a little pump on one of the valves to prime the unit so that you can fill the unit with water before you start it up, which is really unique for this size filter. And then it also has a flow intake valve on there so that you can adjust the amount of water flow. It can have water flow up to 265 gallons through the filter. And like I said, it's rated for up to 85 US gallons on this largest one. So what I'm going to do is get started. I'll take it out, put it all on a table out here. I'll get all the parts out of the box, put it all on a table so that you can see clearly what comes with it. And then we'll start to break down the installation and show you how this thing all gets put together. So let's get started. I can't wait. This is a great filter. 3-year guarantee. Okay, everyone. Again, this is the SICCE SPACE EKO, the 320 model, the largest canister filter. I've taken everything out of the box. And basically you have your instructions. It comes with your instruction booklet, and it comes in several different languages. It comes with the sponges that will be in your media trays. Comes with the coarse sponge for the bottom, and then the medium sponge that would be on top of that, and then the fine filter sponge, which we're going to try and put all 3 sponges in the first canister. So that's your mechanical media, and then it comes with your gray tube for your inlet and outlet for the top here. And then we have the 2 plastic inlet and outlet tubes. You can run on the inlet, you can run the tube so that the water flows down to the bottom. We're not going to use that one. We're going to have our water flow at the top. So then you have your carbon that comes with it. And then I'm going to put some of the biohome media inside the top and center tank canisters. Then it comes with this little bag with all your parts here. I'll open it so you can see what we have. You have your, they're marked. You have your intake, which we're going to have one of the clear tubes on. And then this is the out. Okay, the outtake has the control, so you can control the flow in the unit with that. And then on the intake, this is where it has the little pump. And this is so that you can prime the canister and fill it with, water prior to starting it up. So we'll work on getting those things set up. This is the canister itself, right here. It's a small unit. It's not very big, and it's not heavy at all. And obviously, there's no water in it yet, or media in there. This is the little clip that I was talking about. This has a very easy mechanism to push in. You push in the clip to be able to release. You push the clip in, and then you can release. Oh, hold on. I went backwards. You pull out to release, and it pops right out. And then when you have it cleaned and you want to get it back in, you push it down in, and you just push the clip in, and now your filter hoses are connected. Very easy to do. So pull out to release. It comes out. And then to actually take the lid off, you have these four. There's only 4 of these little clips. You just pull up and pull them out, and that pulls away. And then there's 2 handles that are on the side. So right here, you have a little recessed area where you can get your fingers in there. It's easy to lift and carry it. It's also something that you want to use to pull the lid off. That's the only way that it comes off easily. You want to make sure you get your fingers down inside the little side groove, and then you just got to hold on to it and then lift up, and the whole lid will come off. So again, it's this little groove area right here. That's great to put your fingers in, and that makes it easier. I've had other people say that this lid is tough to get off. It's because they're trying to pull it from an area that they should just put their fingers in here, and then it's much easier to get off. So it's not as hard to get off as people say. That I found out. Inside here we have the canisters. And like I said, there's one handle. This is such a nice feature. There's one handle. You just grab the handle and you pull, all 3 canisters come right out. And that's it. And then inside, I don't know if you're going to be able to see with the light, but there is an area where once you put the canisters back down inside, there's some this little feet that hold the canister up, and it sits up about 1 inch. So there is an area down at the bottom about 1 inch that you can put some of this biohome media. That's why I have it on the plate here. We're going to put that down in the bottom, so that when we put the canister back in, the water's going to go down to the bottom, come through that biomedia to just give it an extra little boost of biomedia. And then it'll get to your mechanical sponges, which I'll show you right now. One of the things I did notice when I was putting this started putting some of it together, there's some little rubber feet that come with it that you're supposed to put on the bottom here. I found that to be the hardest thing that I was doing, because to get those rubber feet into these little holes that are right here, you really have to work hard to get those to stay in. And I've had them in there, and I've had them fall out already. So they're very difficult to get in. One little tip, and I know it seems silly, but one little tip that might be helpful to you to get these little rubber feet inside here is I found this is something that you use for corn on the cob. It's got the little metal, and then you put it on your corn. Well, these little pointers, they seem to help. The only way I could get them on was to start it on one side and then take a pointer and stick it so that the pointer is on the side that's not in, and then help it push down to get that foot down in there. And even then, it's very difficult to push these in. I don't know if I tried Vaseline. That didn't seem to do the trick. This was the only way, and it's working. You just stick it in and then kind of help push that rubber down inside so that you can get the little feet down to where you can get it started enough. And once you get it in somewhat, you can just twist, and that helps get the little rubber feet seated. And I'm sure as time goes on with the weight of the water and the canisters, that these rubber feet will be more secure in there. But they are difficult to push in. But we did get them in there. Okay, so they're all in. and then that helps it with the vibration and it makes it quieter. One of the key features of this filter is that they claim, and SICCE is known for this, they claim that it's one of the quietest filters you're going to buy. And those feet help it with the vibration inside your bottom of your tank. So anyway, so let's get to that. We got the canister feet on. Now these break apart very easily. The top one, you just twist it and it comes off. I already have on the top, this is where I am going to put I have some biomedia in this top one right here, and I'll break that off. You just twist it and it comes loose. And so here I have my biomedia in there, and then I'm going to put this carbon that they gave me. I'm going to go ahead and take that and put it on top. So the last thing that's coming through the water back to the tank will be the carbon. And you can just take it and fold it over so that it's not as big, and then just fit it down in the center there. And then the lid will go, you just have to press a little bit. There's 3 clips. There's 3 little clips. 1, 2, 3. And these 3 clips basically are what you line up with these little hooks. Okay, so there's 3 clips, 3 hooks. You just press down, get it next to where the 3 hooks are, and just get it down. Press down because I have the carbon in there. And then you just twist it. Let me get it started here. You just twist it, and now the carbon's right at the top with the biomedia here. And now the second one I have filled with the biohome that's already in here. And then on the bottom, again, you just twist it to unlock it. And then on the bottom, this is where you're going to put your coarse sponge, your medium sponge, and then your fine filtration little piece of sponge on top. It didn't come that way, but if you're going to have this run correctly, you want to make sure that you have your sponges at the very bottom to catch all the debris coming back into your filter from the tank. And it will definitely put the fine one on top. That will stop everything from getting up, okay? That'll go in here in the bottom canister, and it fits. You might have to just press hard when you connect it. But then when that will stop that from having the debris come up to the biohome will go next. You just want to make sure that you're not catching any of the filter material. So that's that. So we now have our sponges at the bottom, our biohome in the middle, and then we're going to go with the top where we have the ceramic ring biomaterial and the carbon. And again, you just line up the little clips. It slips right down on there, and then you twist. So now everything is done. Everything's ready. And now all you have to do is I'm going to put the biomedia that I want to lay out in the bottom. So I'm going to, again, put some more biomedia down at the bottom of the filter. You just lay it in there flat, you know. And it's got quite a bit of space, so I mean, I could probably put more than I'm putting in here. But I just want to get some down in there. And then I'm going to move it around to make sure it doesn't get in the way of the canisters laying down. That looks good. And now the canister just lifts up and you just lay it down in there. Perfect. No obstructions at all. And so that's ready to go. And now what we're going to do is I always like to fill it a little bit with some water. So I have some ready that I already have from my tank so that it's already got some biomaterial in the water. So let me get that. Okay, so I've added the water. You don't have to put water in here. I do it just because it makes it easier to prime it. But you can just put the lid on, and once you get the inlet and outlet tubes onto your tank, then you can go ahead and just use the primer on that to fill it. But I put a little bit of water. Now the top, like I said, it just lifts onto place, but you got to make sure that you line up these. The top has these teeth right here. There's some little teeth that the clips hook onto. So you got to make sure you line up the clips with the area for the teeth. So you just take it, and wherever the clips are, you just line them up, and you can turn it a little bit to make sure it's where it needs to be. And then you just press down. And if you're off a little bit, you can just adjust it, but I'm perfect where I put it. And you just press down, and the top's on. And then you just take the clips, and you just hook it on the teeth and pull down. So now the lid's all secure. And now all we have to do is take the inlets and press it down inside. And then, like I said, this clip, you just push it in, and it's going to lock it. And the way it does that, it has this little tooth area here, and it pushes that. When you push this in, it locks that. It pulls this clip up to lock it into the lid, so it's not coming out at all. So again, you just put it in, and then just push, and it's locked in there. And these are adjustable, so wherever you're going to have your inlet and outlet coming out of the tank, you can adjust it and turn it if you need to. Okay, so here is the tubing that you're going to use. It's a darker gray tubing that's going to go to your inlet and outlet to the filter. Then you have an outlet and an inlet connection that will go on your tank. And they come with these little suction cups that you can put on here, right here, and they slide right in, so that when you hook this onto your tank, the suction cup will hook on and stay to the glass or the ceramic material, whatever you have there. So there's two of those, one for each. So they go on real easy. And then you have the outlet tube. This one has the water flow adjustment on it. And then on the tube itself, it has a little piece that you want to connect to the bottom that will basically stop anything from small fish or small particle, that a rock or something, from getting sucked up in there to go back into the canister. So you want to put that on. And then this piece right here just pushes right up in here. And that's all. So now that's your piece that will take the water back out from the tank to the canister filter. And you're basically going to hang it on the back wall once we get the tubes cut. We got to cut the tube. You have to cut this to length, and you don't want to do it until you get the canister down inside the bottom compartment, which I'll show you. And then you get the right length without any kinks or anything. And so then that will attach, this gray piece will attach to the back. And I'll show you how that's going to happen, because there's 4 little rings that you have to put on the tubing first. Very important. These rings have to be put onto the tubing first. And there's little teeth on there. There's little teeth inside the top. So you have to put this on the tubing first. And then when you push this up on and connect it to this portion right here, that little ring with its teeth will snap into place, and that will hold it securely. It doesn't come loose at all. And there's this one for the inlet. This is the one that has the primer on it. Okay, so once it's all connected, you're just going to use this primer to fill the tank. Okay, and then it has these 2 little pieces for your water flow back into the tank. Okay, and this basically you're just going to push that up in here, and then you take this piece which has a little area where it lets the water be adjusted to how you want it to flow, and you just connect that right on here, and then once you're connected and it's on the back, you'll be able to adjust the water flow where you want it, and whether you want it to go towards the top of the tank or even, or if you want it to go out towards the bottom. Okay, but we'll take a look at that. So we already have our suction cup, and this is nice. It has a little piece here that's going to help secure it to the back glass. Okay, so what we want to do first is we want to take the gray hose, and we want to hook up the hose from the back side is where I'm going to put it on this side for the out, for it to come on. It'll start on the right side with the water coming in and creating the current, and then taking it back out on the left side back to the canister. So I'm going to just start by putting this down here. See it down there. Now let me stop for 1 second because I'm going to get something to cut the hose, and I'll show you how we're going to measure and get it cut right. Okay, so once you take the tube and run it from the back of your tank down to the bottom to where the canister filter is going to be, you want to go ahead and take the canister outside to attach the tube to the canister, because it's going to take a little force to get it onto the canister. So that's the first step. Get the bottom piece, press it on, and it's all the way on. Now the key is you take this little ring, there's 4 of them, and they have little grooves at the top. That's the portion at the top that you want to face where you're going to push it, because that's the teeth, okay? So once you get here, now you take this little piece with the teeth and just twist and push, and you'll hear it click. It just clicked on, and that's on there. It's not coming off. So now that we have the bottom piece here, we're going to go ahead and get the piece for the other side as well. But first, we have to cut the length of this. So what I'm going to do is set this canister inside. That's where it's going to be, okay? So now that I have the position of the canister where I want it, I'm going to go up top, and I'll pull the camera up top, and then I will measure to where I want to cut that, because I still have to add the piece, the intake piece. So let me switch to the top here, and I'll show you how we're going to cut it and what length we're going to have, okay? Okay, so now we're at the top of the tank. We've already connected the out tube to the bottom to the canister. So this is the out portion that's going to connect to your tank glass up here. So basically what I want to do is I can cut the tube at this length right here, okay? And once I cut the tube, everything will be at the proper length to connect this. So what I'll do is I'm going to just take a pair of regular garden tube cutters, and I'm going to just place it in here and just click. Boom. These are great. They're perfect for cutting these tubes. And then basically I've got this tube left. This will be for the intake, okay? So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'll stop the camera for a second. I'm going to grab the tube from inside, and I'm going to connect it. It's easier that way than trying to, connect it here with all the force that you need. So basically you just stop, and I'll go ahead and move the camera to the bottom, connect it to the bottom, and then all I will have to do then is once the tube is connected, I'm spilling water here. Once the tube's connected, I'll push this up from the back side and place it where we're going to place it. Okay, we're back at the bottom here, So this is the hose that we cut at the top. Okay, very important that you remember to put the ring on the hose first. So you're going to slip the ring on the hose. Now this piece is going to connect to and this is the outlet. We already connected to the canister, and it's going to connect right here. Okay, so you're just going to push it on. Okay, so now our hose is all on, and now with the teeth at the top where the little openings are, you're going to just push up and it's locked on. So that's on. And you want to pull it back down a little bit, give yourself a little bit of room, but that's on there and that's not coming off, okay? So now we have our hose. All we have to do is go back in here and push that up to the top and put it in the tank, and we'll be good. And then it already has the suction cup right here, so that will be able to suck up to the glass and keep it where you want it. And again, this is where you have the flow. You can adjust the flow right here. So let's push that up. Okay, now I'll go to the top and show you how you grab it and put it back into the tank. Okay, so here's the piece now that I pushed up. What you want to do is you want to set it sideways, lay that down into your tank, and then just pull back on this lever, and then you can use the suction cup. Let me pull my sleeve here. And now it's secured. So basically it's in, and you can see that it's right where it should be. It's a couple inches above the bottom of the tank. My Severum's, that's my turquoise Severum, he's investigating. He's the king of the tank here. Anyway, so that one's done. We're going to do the other side now. I'll just show you the cutting of the tube and getting the length correct again. And you don't need to see the whole hookup, but it's going to be the same. You're going to hook it up, and then I'll get it all hooked up, and then I'll show you how to prime it, okay? Okay, so that other side went pretty easy. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and hook this piece up top, drop the hose down to cut it to length. This is for the intake, okay? So remember, you got to put this on first. So you want to put this on your hose first with the little lines at the top. Now you take the intake and basically just push it on to the hose. Give it a little turn. And now we got it on there. And now you just push up and you'll hear it click. Or it doesn't really click, but you'll hear it go over the edge. And that's what you want. And then you can pull it down a little bit to make sure, but you'll have just a little gap there. And that's on, and that's secure, okay? So now we'll drop the hose down from behind. And then all you got to do is pull this. You can turn this to the side and then just pull that, slip it over, and then your suction cup will attach to the glass, the same as on the other side. And again, you can adjust the flow valve to where you want it to flow, up, down, sideways, okay? Now let's go to the bottom, and I'll pick up the hose at the bottom and cut it to length and connect it to the filter. Okay, so we're back at the bottom. You have your cutter, just open it up. The hose is right here. And it's already connected into the tank, so I can see where I'm at here with length, okay? And on this one, I'm going to give it enough room so that I know I have a little bit of play. Not a lot, just a little. So I'm going to cut it right here. Get my cutters. Very easy. These cutters are great. They cut everything. I mean, they're meant for gardening, but that's the exact perfect size. Now remember, you want to put your clip on, you know, so you got to slip it on the hose, and then just slip it onto the filter and push down. So it's all the way seated. Now I'm going to push down with the clip. The clip's right here. I'm just going to push it down. You hear that click, okay? So that's on there, and it's very solid. And the hoses are cut perfect length where I wanted them. And I still have a little extra hose. I mean, you're not going to use it for this, but for something else, you know. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a picture of the inside where the canister is and how to make sure it's a safety issue. When you connect the wire, the plug for the canister filter, you want to make sure it's just not laying on the bottom. So I'll show you that next. Okay, so anytime you plug anything in below an aquarium, you want to make sure that you don't have any wires or any electrical laying on the bottom shelf underneath the aquarium. Because if forbid you ever have a leak, you ever have water coming down, you don't want an electrical short or an issue with electricity. So you take the plug, and they give you quite a long plug. I would say 6 foot of cord. And you're not going to use 6 foot of cord. So what I like to do is I'll take the cord and I will wrap it up like so. And then I will take a nylon tie. You could take anything. I just happen to have some. I keep a little box underneath my aquarium. I keep a little box of tools and, you know, aquarium carbon and different things. And then I have my extension cord with all the plugs. I have it hanging up on the side wall of the aquarium so that if there is ever any water here, it doesn't get there. And I have a light next to it. So, and I have a little storage area, but it's all clean and tidy. And then I'll take this and I will make sure that I zip tie it. And you can use Velcro, you can use anything. So I just zip tie all the extra. And then I already have a drip loop. Because of the way I have this set up, when I plug this in, which I'm going to do in a second, and then we'll prime it. I should prime it first. So I'm not going to plug it in right now, but it's going to plug in right here. And that way I already have a drip loop in the cord so that if any water leaks in the canister, it won't come up to the electricity. The electricity is higher. Okay? So let me prime it. Let me show you that. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and prime the canister filter now. The prime is over here. It's on the inside. So the connection that says in is where the primer is. And you just pull it up and down, and then you're going to see some bubbles come out over on the outside over here. So let me just kind of hold your fingers on here, pull it up and down. So I just had a few bubbles. I pre-filled my tank, my canister. So you're going to get a lot more bubbles if you don't pre-fill. You might not want to pre-fill. I just do it. I always have. But now it's ready to turn on. So let me go ahead and plug it in. And let's see if we get some flow. There it goes. going to take a few seconds just to get through the media. It's starting to run more consistently. Takes a few seconds, minutes to get it going through the filter. There you go. So that's where we got going. Filter is up and running. Okay, so that's the installation. We do have it up and running. Very quiet. I can't even barely hear it with the doors open for the aquarium base. So it's very quiet. The thing to remember is the intake is on this side, and the intake is taking the water from the aquarium into the canister. And that's where the pump is, the handle to pump the canister prior to starting it up. That's on the intake side, okay? And that's taking the water from the aquarium back into the canister. And the outtake is taking the water from the canister out to the aquarium. And that's where you have the knob for the flow. If you want to reduce the flow, you turn it counterclockwise, okay? Initially, I had it set up with, I had them backwards. You know, I had the out, I thought the out would be out from the tank to the canister. It's the in is from the tank to the canister, and the out is from the canister out to the tank. Sorry about that confusion. The instructions aren't real great when it comes to that. You have to kind of, you know, do it firsthand and then figure it out. So that's what it is. Intake takes the water from the tank to the canister, and the out takes it from the canister back out to the tank. Okay? That was the only catch there. But it's running great, and it's really smooth. Great installation. It's easy to do. It really is. And I'm looking forward to many years with this canister filter. SICCE Space EKO 320 is the model. Space EKO 320. It's for up to 85 gallons, 85 US gallon tank. And that's my SICCE heater. I've loved that. I might do a video on it. It's real easy. It's a SICCE heater. You could buy them and they connect to your phone. There's an app. You don't ever have to do anything inside the tank. The temperature gets set right on your phone. So SICCE is a great company, and I look forward to, I'm going to use a lot more of their products in the future. So this light that I have is the Fluval Plant, and that was the 3.0. I never did a video on that one. I might do one if somebody requests. If you want in the comments, request a video. It's been a great light. I customized the light. I put these plexiglass stems to hold the light up, and it just sits right down in there, and it's very steady, and it sits up high enough away from the tank to give it really nice light. And that's the Fluval Plant LED. Anyway, hope you had a great time watching the video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll answer them right away. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.